an interesting thing because I'd say Mars sometimes starts recording before he tells me. That's okay. We've had a discussion about that, but I know, like, because we just disconnected on Skype and he went to the toilet. We've reconnected. I can tell instantly that the recording's still going because the way that Miles sounds is he's got, and it's not like he doesn't go hey, but it's like between that and his normal somewhere between those two.
Sorry.
I can just tell instantly.
What
you doing, mate? What's
the worst thing? So I don't even hide it though.
No, you do hide. You would try that.
I try my best, but me trying is like showing that I'm not trying.
I know, but that's the thing. A lot of people who try very hard to make people like them,
friends,
to make friends, to make people like them. They one of the things they try hardest to do is to act as if they're not trying hard. And the people genuinely, and they end up sort of, like reeking of trying hard because it's so obvious. Whereas a lot of people, if you don't try, anyway.
All right.
Just a little bit of life advice. But yeah. So there was, because I wanted you just went to the toilet. I was just about to say one thing I did, like, this is just a little point that I it's not even about this show particularly. Obviously, the podcasts that they did are nowhere near as good, but there are some really funny moments in them, and this show did remind me of probably my favorite ever podcast moment out of all of the hundreds of hours, dozens of hours. He says he's talking about the evolution of the toad talk in this episode. He's trying to explain to Carl about the evolution of the toad, and it just reminded me of like Carl's line when he's in the podcast. He's explaining to him about the evolution of the slug. And he's like, a slug is as evolved as us. And he goes, Carl goes, it can't be. And Ricky goes, it is. It's as evolved as a slug has got it right. And Carl goes, well, what was it like before it got it right? Which is just a great line. I love that line. So it's such a witty line.
It's really annoys me about Ricky though. Why did he take it upon himself to? He was funnier when he pretended that he didn't know anything. Not when he didn't pretend that he didn't know anything. He was always like an arrogant, but it was the fact that now he's like he weighs himself as an academic. He shows that, like, if that was me, I would never pretend to know. I would never get into any conversation where I was out of my depth. I would never pretend to know anything more than what I did already. And I feel like Ricky's just, I feel like he's out of his depth most of the time, and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't sell that version of yourself. And I know we're probably bringing up old turf, like with what we've done before on the show, but it's that same thing of, like, I think that's a good lesson in life generally, to just like not to do, I don't know, not to oversell yourself, I suppose. Okay. Because when you're innocent, when you don't try at all, you are more fun and you are better company. And at the end of the day, these are the times when people are going to want to spend time with you.
I disagree slightly. I mean, I know what you mean, and I kind of agree with the main point, but I'd say a couple of things. So, firstly, it is fair to say, right, that Ricky is he does know what he's talking about. Not always, but when he
Lowry.
talks, yeah, we really hate the Lowry. That is not an example of where Ricky knows what he's talking about. That's a subjective thing, anyway. But let's say, like, even back then, even in the period where we like Ricky, which is this, what we're doing now, he does. He does.
Well, Gary's got this lovely thing where he's got this lovely little smile that he does when I go. Yeah.
Yeah. no, but it's that thing where, you know, when someone's tickling you and you're laughing but you hate it. It's like you're laughing, but get off me. But I'm also laughing. I'm also endorphins are being released. It's a funny thing. I'm happy, but I hate it. It's that. So anyway, Ricky, you can't just say Ricky's out of his depth all these time. When Ricky's
I'm not saying he's out of his depth. I'm just like,
that's what you said. So, one, I would say Ricky is quite a wise person, and he is well educated. He knows what he's talking about usually, but he does display that kind of it. I would say it works now, as in, when I say now, I mean the now that we're doing the podcast in. So I'd say it works during this 3 or 4 years, or 2 or 3 years. It works because you've got a foil of Carl. It works for him to, like, if it was just him and Steve and he was kind of explaining refrigeration and explaining these concepts like it would come across as more arrogant, and he wouldn't even get away with it back then. And he gets away with being arrogant a lot because he does it, but he's doing it in a funny way with Carl, even though as a byproduct of that, he absolutely arrogantly, very arrogantly wants to get it out there. So I agree with you. He is being arrogant, and he loves people to know what he knows about. And that's Ricky now, like all the time. Like, but even back in these days, he loved people to know that he was intelligent and knew stuff.
But that's what I mean. I've never felt. I guess that's a problem I've got.
Let me just. He loved people to know he's intelligent and knowledgeable, but he kind of. It was funny enough, or it was even when he does it and it's not to be funny and it's not outwardly something you laugh at. It fits within the narrative of this show enough such that, apart from the Lowry stuff and a couple of other little bits, it actually, for me, it doesn't make me think badly of him, because it works so well. It fits in with the narrative. Carl is so thick, even though he's not thick. Rick is so intelligent, even though he's not really intelligent. He's quite intelligent, but not. So it kind of fits for Ricky to play the role of teacher there. So I slightly disagree with you, but I know what you mean in that, I do see it as arrogant. I just think that he's not particularly out of his depth. Like, if he was amongst people who knew about refrigeration, I bet he doesn't know very much. But amongst people who don't know anything about it, he comes across as intelligent.
Okay.
What do you think? Well, respond.
No, I
agree or disagree. You can disagree. I happily disagree with you, but I also agree with you where I agree with you.
No, I think I don't know. I think he's a very hard person to make judgments on at this part of his career, because
I think he's easy to make judgments on. I think it's easy to judge him in a way.
No, but easy in respect that but what I mean is everyone is allowed to change. And everyone is allowed to. I just wish. I think he's just underselling himself now. I think he was better back then.
Well,
I think it's a testament to how money and success can change you, and all of the fact that he detests fame and he writes about fame and he likes all this stuff. The truth of the matter is, fame has changed him for the worse. So for all of this shit that he talks about, where we're slagging off people who, sell out and stuff, Ricky's just as bad.
I know, of course, but I wouldn't say. I don't think fame changed him, because he much lower than he is now. I know, but he was pretty famous. He was famous enough during these podcasts for homeless people to recognize him. And I totally believe that story, and Carl was there anyway. It wasn't like something he was making up. So he was very famous. It's not fame that changed him. Something changed him. And this is where it's difficult to make judgments on, because it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it was, but something shifted him from kind of wanting to be funny to wanting to be revered, and almost like revered as a cultural icon rather than a comedic icon. Something shifted. So he was a comedic icon, but it's like, I don't want. No. He'd rather be seen as clever. He'd rather be respected. But in the podcast days, he didn't want to be respected. He just wanted to be funny. There's very small amounts of time in the podcast, so it does show. So it's not like he's a completely different person, because we see these little bits in the podcast and he gets away with them. But the Lowry stuff, for example, he always has wanted to be respected. But before, being a comedian was absolutely making people laugh. The show, it's all self-deprecating. What does he do now that's self-deprecating? All right, he might say the odd thing in an interview or two, but that's on
that's
the
what I mean. He never does that now. And I was watching some old, award speeches that he's done, and they were really funny.
Oh yeah,
so funny, and you're just like, you wish him to go back and do that.
We are proudest of my writing. Is
exactly. That's classic.
But that's
back when the comedy awards were an actual thing on ITV.
Yeah, no, and the other thing that I think after this point we'll get off, because we kind of we in some respect we're covering old ground, but it is still, we're adding new things because we didn't say all this before. But I'm just conscious.
You get a lot of criticism for that, though, Gary. Let's bear that in mind, mate.
I'm conscious that person emailed in and said you always say things 2 or 3 times.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but. Okay, yes, this was it. All right, so the point I was going to, and Miles had just cut a bit out there. That's where I was had my head up in the air for about 35 seconds, just trying to remember what I was going to say. Yeah, good one. You're like 4 years old. Ricky, the thing that really annoys me more than anything is how much of a hypocrite Ricky is, and I hate hypocrisy. And he'll stand up at the Golden Globes and say, not joking, it might be part of a larger joke, but this is a serious point that he's making. You think, all you celebrities out there, you think you can comment on politics, politics and culture. You can't, basically. He says it in a way that he thinks is funny. He's less funny. That's an annoying thing. But this is, I can't forgive. To be fair to him, he doesn't comment on politics ever. I've never heard him comment real seriously on politics. But he is a huge commenter on culture. He's such a hypocrite, and he hates people standing up at award shows and thanking their God, right? I don't believe in God. Yeah, so are you listening, or are you?
Yeah, I am.
But you're just pinching your lip with some scissors. Okay, so anyway, I've started a bit again, cut that bit out. So he stands up, he hates celebrities thanking their God. He is as outwardly and as he I don't know what the right word is, but I'm atheist as well, and I'm sympathetic to the view that celebrities shouldn't comment on politics or culture, but he is a hypocrite because he comments on culture, and he is as fervent atheist as they are religious people. So it's become like shoving it down your throat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you shouldn't do that.
But
when you're saying about he doesn't talk about politics, he does talk about politics. He talks
about politics in the sense that you can describe something that is significantly impactful on society as political. He doesn't comment on party politics, for example. He doesn't.
Sure.
So he doesn't comment on the most naked form of what we mean politics to be. I agree, it's political, yeah.
But it's
So,
also
yeah,
not political to go that you disagree with Trump, because like who wouldn't?
Disagreeing with saying you disagree with that is not. I mean, it's like standard. It's become more than it's so obvious. But I would say I am very sympathetic to Ricky's opinion on atheism. I just wouldn't shove it down people's throats in the way that he does, and I wouldn't be a hypocrite and say that you can't talk about your God on this stage, but I can talk about being an atheist all of the time in all of my interviews.
I just find it boring. I'd rather someone talk about, loads and loads of different things than, knowing, two things about one thing. It's just it's the same thing that he's talked about all the time. Like, I'm not a stand-up comic, and I don't ever, I don't think I will be. But you want to be one, and I don't want to be one, but it's that thing of, one would hope that I would know a bit more than the fucking one thing that I drone on and on about. And he talks about how much he hates Twitter, but half of his routine is about Twitter. So get off Twitter then.
I know, it's hypocritical.
If you hate it that much, get the fuck off it.
Yeah, actually, I'm just come to mind. We won't go through it because it's like you can't really share. You can, but I can't even remember it. But Stuart Lee.
But it's that same thing.
Let me just finish. Stuart Lee did a good point about a good section about Ricky Gervais, as he always does. But when we saw him live, it was good about being a hypocrite. But Ricky, the way the thing is, right? Ricky's made his atheist name after making a couple of what were genuinely very good and very interesting interviews and speeches about, and but he does, I agree with you, it's the same thing time and time again. He doesn't know nothing about it. He does know stuff about it. It's just he repeats it ad infinitum,
But maybe that's just because you and I watch everything he's ever done. So it will.
It's not. No, because when Life on the Road came out, I refused to watch it. I absolutely
that's true.
refused to watch it.
But that's one thing out of like.
No, but that's a huge. If you think if you're a fan of The Office, you're gonna tend to watch Life on the Road. But I refuse to watch it. But yeah. Anyway, let's. Have you got, Miles, any more points about this particular show?
I do. Well, not about this particular show, but we are kind of wrapping up here. And oh my god, we have been droning on for fucking ages. So, Gary, I know we're going to do our feature now, our XFM in the community.
Oh yeah, and, I like. Oh yeah, I'll just say. Sorry, because you mentioned it. I just want to say this.
We have to get through this, mate.
I know. I'm sorry. You can cut this out if you want, but no, don't cut this out. When we did our first attempt at this show, which the audio issues, so we couldn't use it. Mars has done a few features on this show, and I've always found them interesting. Apart from one is a bit of a hard quiz, but anyway, they've always been. But this feature was like, you did like acronyms. But obviously the advantage of not being able to use that audio is we don't have to do that again. So yeah, a feature though that I do like is XFM in the community, and that's what I want you to.
Yeah, and I know, Gary, you threw out this question which I posed to our fans on our Twitter page and on my Instagram, which was, if you had to be quarantined with Ricky, Steve, or Carl for 3 months, who would you pick and why? And this is on Twitter. Mr. Dilkington says Ricky, because he would probably drink every day.
I don't. Is that a good thing? I guess to Mr. Dilkington.
I think that's a good thing. I would be up for drinking every day.
You would be, but Yeah.
This is from Breachy Rocket, and she says, Steve, surely the least annoying, unless he wants to keep saying arbitrary, which is true. He does say that word a lot.
It never occurred to me, but he does say arbitrary a lot. I agree. But yeah. I like these. Read all of these out if you've got a few.
And the last one, there's only 3.
Okay.
And this is from your favourite, FLJS 90.
Oh, FLJS 90. It's been a while since we've had this.
And he says, quarantine, tough one. Definitely not Ricky for obvious reasons. Carl can't cook, makes lasagna like a brick. I pick Steve to do Jerry Halliwell's body yoga and keep in shape when not playing Grand Theft Auto 3 or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, bless. Thank you, FLJS, for interacting with our show. You still come round for dinner another time. But yeah, no, genuinely, FLJS, thank you. That's an interesting. So basically, Steve, two for Steve, one for. I thought we'd have more for Carl.
I'd say with Carl. I think he'd be most chill.
I think Carl would be a bit miserable, and Ricky would be a bit full on. I think I'd pick Steve as well. Actually, I think Steve would be the right mix of chilled and up for having a drink and a laugh when you are, but not all the time like Ricky and none of. I don't know.
I think I'd want to laugh all the time.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. That's the thing. In 3 months, you wouldn't get so sick. It's like imagine sharing a prison cell with Ricky.
But it's the thing. Like, the thing is, like, because I'm trying to work and trying to write and trying to podcast, there's a lot to do. So I'm actually enjoying this quarantine time to think and to do creative things. But if I had Ricky there, and if I didn't have any other responsibilities, if I could just sit around and drink all day, every day, I'd choose Ricky.
But could I just say, I'm surprised because you've just spent, and me, the last 20 minutes or so saying how much we don't like Ricky in what he does now and who he is now.
I'm taking Ricky from circa 1998.
Okay, yeah.
To 2003. All right.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. I'd choose Steve. I think. Don't get me wrong. If I was with Ricky. If I was quarantined for 2 days, I'd choose Ricky. If I was quarantined for
it's all dependent,
for a week, I'd choose Carl, and for 3 months, I'd choose Steve. I think Steve is the most bearable. Like Steve is probably the most what you would call normal human being, and he's not that normal in a complimentary way. It's not good to be normal in every way, but Ricky's not normal. He's a huge comedic talent. He laughs a lot. He's just an incredible force of nature. Whatever you think of him, even now, Carl is this incredible human being, so different to so many people. Steve is a bit weird and quirky, but he's the most normal. So I think I'd choose Steve. But
yeah,
I thought we'd get some.
Probably last longest then, hey?
Yeah, well, how long do you think because we're going to wrap up now because I want to go to bed, but how long do you reckon we're going to be quarantined for? What do you reckon? Because I think it's going to be, it can't stop soon. It will have to go on for probably 3 months.
I think 3 months and then see what happens. What can you, I don't know.
No, you don't know. I wasn't asking, by the way, Miles isn't a government minister. I was just asking.
No, that's a legit answer though, isn't it? Like, it is going to be 3 months, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that was my answer as well. Like, that was my answer to my own question. I guess it because I was thinking, like, let's say there were absolutely no cases, no confirmed cases, and no confirmed deaths of coronavirus.
Well, that doesn't matter because in China there's no confirmed cases. They open the cinema and then close them straight away.
Let me make my point, and you cut that bit out because it's irrelevant. Because I'm going to make that point, and you just So let's say there were no new cases for the next 3 weeks. Well, you can't end quarantine suddenly because you've got to say to yourself, well, the reason there's no new cases is because we're having a quarantine. You can't. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very hard to judge. I don't envy the people who have to do it. It's very hard to judge when to end. Bojo, health minister. Anyway, what next? The next show might be with Rich Danson, which won't be a normal show. But the next show we're going to be reviewing is episode 12. This has been a review of episode 11. If you've enjoyed it, if you haven't enjoyed it, if you've found it interesting in any slight way or not,
we've been yammering on. This is going to be about an hour and a half. This episode, Gary. Before we wrap up, and I'm just going to say that for the first time, Classic Rockbusters from Gary
Oh,
Forrester.
you're testing me.
Yeah.
Seeing if I
These
can
are
get
ones that you've done in the past. I want to see if you can get them now in the future or in the present.
the present room.
That ocean is full of fruit. MC. La 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 la. This you actually came up with this. This is something.
Yeah, no, I do. I know. I always. The thing about the ones I came up with is they
You
were
were
always
younger.
hard because they were hard because the harder ones are more interesting. Okay, just give me one. Is it a band or an artist?
It's an artist, and she used to be part of a very famous 90s girl group.
Oh, Melanie C.
Well done.
Yeah, that's a great clue, is it not?
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah. I've also been posting these out on Twitter, so if you follow us at Trout_D, I do post these out now and again. I think you and me are really big and tough. W. Band who did a very famous Christmas #1 single in the 70s. They were big.
Wizard.
Wizard, mate. And the last one, number 3.
Proud of myself. I'm proud of myself.
No, you're very good. They are, and also the Twitter Illuminati. They love it.
Oh, do they? You never send me some feedback from people that.
Yeah,
love...
I will do. Let me do the third one out. A tree has fallen on that Irish woman.
This is my favourite. Yeah, no, I know this one. That's not actually the clue, by the way. That's not the clue.
What was the clue then?
That's not the clue at all.
Oh,
you've ruined it if you put that out.
Oh, really? I have never posted.
Actually, no. Well, to be fair, there's 2 clues I did. The first one isn't as good. Actually, I think that is Sinead O'Connor. So that's
true.
But actually, no, you're right. If it's Sinead O'Connor, yeah, I did do that clue, and it's not good. But I improved it by saying that German man has just saw a tree fall on a woman. And it's D.O. And it's a bit of an old artist. So it's not a normal artist, but he was a singer. He is a singer. It's Des O'Connor. That's my favourite clue I've ever done. Yeah. Des O'Connor. Des O'Connor.
No, you need to get with the naughty. You need to get with the 2020s.
Yeah. What do we call the 2020? The 20s, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be the 20s again. The 20s.
Just think, right? In the year 3000,
when they live underwater.
So, am I thinking 3000?
And your great.
No. Sorry, 2100. Not even 3000. Just in the 2100 or 2110, whatever.
This podcast will be number 10 in the charts.
Yeah, they will look back on us. We will be seen as the same that we look back on the 20s now. Like the 20s we see now, that's us to them.
I don't think so. I think everything now will just be... I think everything from now, people will look back and go, oh, that was just then.
I don't understand.
I think there's nothing new. They're just going to go, that was then.
Yeah. Thanks for that. But anyway, I think that they, as I say, the technological advances that we will see in the next 80 years is what I'm saying. It will be we won't be able to comprehend them. Just like in the 20s, they could not comprehend us Skyping.
Good. 1 or 2 next.
1 or next.
Gary, I want to wrap this up because I'm bored of talking to you, mate. The D-Trout Spinners library is up and operational. We have plenty of songs in there to keep your quarantine going. Keep yourself.
I haven't got one. I'll just
haven't got one. Let me give you a selection. I'm actually going to give you the choice of 2 songs that I was thinking of. So every episode, Gary and I like to put a song into our Spotify playlist that we call the D-Trout Spinners library because we don't want the 3 non-blondes to be in there anymore. We don't want 9 Catatonia.
Goodbye.
So we like to put songs in there. We used to do radio. We're very big fans of music, so we like you to listen to music that we like to listen to. Can be inspired by the show, cannot be inspired by the show. This week I am at a loose end because I really wanted to put in Amy Mann Wise Up, but then I listened to Shine On by Primal Screen. And I can't quite decide which one I want to put in. But I think in these dark times and this harsh times, I think we need a bit of positivity. So I'm going to put Primal Scream, Shine On.
Yeah, I endorse that view. But I could easily come up with one now, but it will be Oasis again. So I don't really want to. Okay, I'm just going to think of a real gem from Oasis that people don't know about.
You put Talk Tonight because it is a brilliant song.
Wonderwall. No, I'm joking. It's a good song, but
what's a really good feel good song? I feel like we've got the moral.
Okay. A really good feel good. There's Head Shrinker, which is a bit, but I can't remember if I put this in before. Did I put Stay Young in?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've done that. Okay, it's not necessarily a feel good song, but Head Shrinker's a real banging sort of song. So Head Shrinker I put in by
Head Shrinker, it's going in. That's it. That's them onions and that shallot.
Can I go to bed now?
You can, yeah. I've been Mars Pennell, and you have been
Gary Forrester. Yeah, I don't like saying.
I've really enjoyed this show. It's been long.
Could you? How long have we been?
Oh, fucking ages.
Oh God.
Fucking ages. I'm probably going to put that in 2 parts.
Luckily, there's a lot of shit that we spoke that you can cut out.
And next week, Dickie Anders.
Yeah, at some point we will have Dickie Anders between now. So, okay, that's not. We at some point we'll have Dickie Anders. It will. I'd say it's 85 to 90% certain it'll be this Saturday, so I'd probably go out on the Sunday.
I just can't confirm it.
At the absolute latest, it'll be the following Saturday. But if we don't get, but hang on, put it this way: if we happen to have Dickie Anders on this Saturday, we will have a show. It just won't be that one.
Yeah.
I don't want him to cancel. People.
Imagine if we were on like Radio. Imagine if we were on like Radio 2 and they go next week. Kylie Minogue. Well, if not next week, might be the week after. But if not, we'll just get her to call in. All right.
Listen, I'm gonna. This is the last thing I'm doing. I will finish this episode. I'll explain my reasoning. People, if I am putting myself in the position of a listener now, right? If you say to me as a host, next week we'll be reviewing episode 12, right? And then it doesn't come out next week; it comes out the following week. Okay, I can live with that. If you say you're interviewing Dickie Anderson and you say it's definitely happening on a particular day,
I'd just like to give you a bit of pressure, mate.
No, but just say it probably. Look, we don't know about Dickie, how Dickie will be, but hopefully he'll be. Anyway, I don't want to go into it. Dickie Anderson will be on the show.
I've been Mars Pennell. You've been Gary Forrester. Thank you so much for listening. Please do like and subscribe us. Yeah. Please do like and subscribe us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We are on Twitter at Trout_D and on Instagram at Duchess_Pennell. That's me. Gary doesn't do social media as a general rule. Other than that, have a lovely rest of your self-isolation and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.